was magnificent. And he took it all from me.
Who do we have here?
She's from a place of abundance. This is our destiny.
My childhood, my mother, I want them back. I want them back!
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, we are taking a trip back into the Wastelands as George Miller is ready to unleash even more metal mayhem in Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. In 2015, we met Imperator Furiosa, a buzzcut badass looking to escape from the clutches of one Immortan Joe along with his breeding wives. She was a magnificent character, and now, nearly 10 years later, George Miller steps back into this world to tell us the fable of her upbringing and quest for vengeance. Minds were collectively blown when Miller unleashed Mad Max Fury Road. An action spectacle like no other, it picked up an absolute haul at the Oscars, as well as being regarded by many as one of the greatest action films of all time. Personally, I wouldn't go that far. I love the film. I think it's amazing. Please don't shout at me. I cannot deny that the practical action in it is among the best that has ever graced a cinema screen. But in terms of story and characters, I do think the tank is running a little dry. So in terms of Furiosa, will Miller still have that same spark? Will it deliver on the action spectacle? But more importantly for me, will it invest me into the world and its inhabitants? Well, the long and short answer is yes and no. One thing that anyone going into Furiosa needs to be 100% aware of is that this film is an entirely different beast to Fury Road. That was essentially a car chase to one point and a car chase back again. Furiosa is an odyssey, telling this tale in chapters, installments in her life, from when she was a child, the torment she suffered, all the way to the Furiosa that we eventually meet in Fury Road. Anya Taylor-Joy plays Furiosa, or at least the older version that we see in the film. It is worth noting for any Anya Taylor-Joy stans that you won't see her for at least an hour into the film. But she does a remarkable job, able to convey so much of her character's anguish and pain just through her eyes alone. I won't go so far as to say that Anya Taylor-Joy made this character her own, like we saw Charlize Theron did, but she does a very good job. And then there's Chris Hemsworth. I mean, talk about chewing the frickin' scenery. Hemsworth plays Dementus, a foe of Furiosa's and a maniacal warlord who yearns for domination over all and will stop at nothing to get it. He is diabolical, deranged, as his name suggests, quite demented, an absolutely twisted, colourful character with a prominent schnoz at the end of his face. Dementor steals every scene that he's in. In fact, I would go so far as to say that the film is worse off when he is not on screen. Because here are where my problems lie with Furiosa. You have all of these crazy characters, a world in which human society as we know it has devolved into depravity. There is no denying that Miller has crafted a unique sci-fi dystopian world. So why do I care so little? I think it's due to the fact that even for me, it's too weird to ever take itself seriously, but takes itself too seriously to really be weird. I mean, let's just state the obvious. There's a character called Piss Boy. There's a large man who rubs his nipples during board meetings, and enough grizzled old Australian men to fill the entirety of New South Wales. There's a fascination about motors, which as a petrol head, I should love. But when the film stops in its tracks to do a Pimp My Ride-esque montage, I'm just left scratching my head about the whole thing. A lot of Miller's directing choices I'm on board with. He tends to helm his action scenes like he's playing with a pile of Matchbox cars with a sprinkling of robot wars over the top. One sequence especially features an attack on the war rig. That alone is worth the price of admission. But please do not go in expecting a thriller-minute action fest. The film wants to explore the lore and expand the Wastelands. World building is always something that I will appreciate no matter what. And yet, anything that wasn't to do with Furiosa's quest for vengeance, I found myself checking out of, which resulted in an unnecessarily long runtime. Additionally, going back to those action sequences, dazzling, yes, especially in IMAX, but coming off of Fury Road, which was essentially a middle finger to CGI action blurs, it did everything in camera. Most of the stuff that you saw was practical. And a huge chunk of Furiosa, very clearly, is practical. But there is quite an unnecessary use of CGI, and the CGI that we get is unacceptably poor. I'm talking atrocious green screen, and we may see action scenes that are happening off in the distance with little CGI renders that you can't quite make out of, but they are so obviously computer-generated images. It's a real shame, because like I said, Fury Road, it thrived on that practicality, and with Furiosa, there's just too much artificialness to it. Furiosa was a bit of a balancing act between my likes and dislikes, but ultimately, my likes are stronger. Anya Taylor-Joy assumes confident command, but the stars shine whenever Chris Hemsworth lights up the screen. I appreciated the expansion and time to understand the world of the Wastelands, even if it still feels too tonally unbalanced for my liking. For Fury Road fans, it still retains many of the hallmarks we loved, and the action scenes deserve to be experienced on the big screen. I'm going to give Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, a 7 out of 10. Anyway, guys, those were my thoughts on Furiosa. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, I would like to know, what would you like to see next in the world of Mad Max? Be it a story, maybe branching into television. Personally, I think the world lends itself to an animated series. I think animators would have a field day coming up with all of these crazy worlds and characters and contraptions to build. I can't help but feel like it would lend itself very strongly. But this is all the time we have for today, so thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.